Okay. Hi, folks. We're going to talk today about how Bob, who's I would call with us in this company, Cyberweld, grew from 8 million to 30 million in 5 years. It's what everyone dreams of if you're at the 8 million point. It's what everyone dreams of if you're at the 1 million point. And we just want to talk about what it takes. A lot of it is state of mind, and a lot of it is hard work and preparation. So we're going to go through a way for you to start thinking about growing your business. So really quickly, I wanted to let everyone know that Exclusive Concepts is now exclusive. We have a new brand. After 20 years, we've been around since 1997, and after 20 years, we are a different brand, different logo, different name, exclusive as opposed to Exclusive Concepts, brand new website. There's a lot of cool things you can do on the website. If you go to click the free e-commerce analysis, and qualified merchants can begin a process towards a very custom e-commerce roadmap that we built for you. If you go to the client section, you can read some updated client case stories, including about Bob. If you go to Insights, Insights is a library of our blog articles, past webinars, and a lot of other things. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. If anyone has already been to the website, please leave a note for us in the question box and just let us know what you think. And get started with the agenda here. We're going to introduce Cyberweld as a company, as an entity, and talk about kind of the problem that was leading to a little bit of stagnation back in 2011, and then the solution. You know, how do you solve for your big problems not getting addressed? We're going to go through 2 marketing challenges and 2 growth challenges, and then we'll do live Q&A. So to introduce Cyberweld, Bob, I'd love for you to be able to talk a little bit about this multi-generational company and how it started and how it was passed down to you.
All right, I'd be happy to. Yes, I'm actually 4th generation. My son Jim, who works in our Arizona distribution facility, is 5th generation. As you can see from the slide, we started in 1938. We've been a bricks and mortar welding supply distributorship in central New Jersey since then. We went online in 2000, and since that time, the internet portion of our business now represents about 87% of our revenues. So we've really become an internet company selling a product that is typically not associated with an online buyer.
Awesome. And right now you're at the second 500 list for IR. That list is getting pretty heavy. I mean, at nearly at 30 million for this year, to be in the second 500, there's a lot of money being made in online retail. It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. And even though we're in the second 500 for our particular category, I think we're tools and hardware. We're actually number 1.
Wow. Fantastic. All right, well, one question that we have, just to get personal with people, because multi-generational businesses makes up for us a pretty big chunk of who we work with. I want to ask everyone out there, are you part of a multi-generational business, and what does that look like from your side? So just a quick personal poll. Let's get to know each other a little. Yes, I'm 2nd generation or more. Yes, I hope to pass this along to my children. No, or not sure. You might not be the owner of the business. You may not know. Give everyone about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I close this out and just share some of these numbers. So 11%, yes, I hope to pass this along to my children. 0% for 2nd generation or more. Wow, so you're the anomaly here today, Bob. 79% no, and definitely don't want to pass it along to my kids. Is what I'm reading there, and 11% not sure yet. That's that's great. All right, guys. Well, good to get to know people a little bit. We'll talk about the problem here. The problem is actually a problem that we've identified across the board with online retail. Online retail is a really tough business to run because there are all these different vendors that you usually need when you're doing marketing. So when you have a lot of different vendors managing marketing and not one partner, well, then your channels are more just kind of standalone. Like all the problems of the channel may get addressed, but not the big problems in between. Nor are you tying all these channels together into one cohesive strategy. But what that really meant was Bob was the only one owning big problems, and he was the only one owning the big picture. And that's what causes stagnation. You've got all these different people doing their job, but part of their job does not include looking at the big picture. There's no one there from a marketing perspective who has your back looking at the big picture saying, okay, here's a big problem. We've got to figure out how to tackle it on the SEO side, PPC, conversion, email, whatever it may be. It's not just going to be kind of hermetically down to one channel. So the problem was not having a cohesive marketing team. And here's some things that we've always noticed with this. It's there's all these walls when it comes to communication. When you don't have one vendor, you have multiple vendors, they don't get to talk. And that means that in that case, Bob would have to be the only person who has to constantly hear what the PPC person is telling him and then try to remember it so that when he talks to his email person, he can transfer some of the details over, coordinate promotions and whatnot. Not easy to do. More importantly, big problems start to arise and people just pass the buck onto each other. No one wants to take responsibility because it's not their responsibility. And in terms of strategy, no one is coordinating across the funnel. And it really does create a lot of stagnation as opposed to what we've been able to do for Bob, which is exponential. It's quite the opposite. So that is the solution. The solution is don't pick and choose your services with separate vendors who have to constantly just prove their own value and are looking out for just that one contract. You want a holistic solution that actually does evolve a lot. We're going to talk a lot about how our program with Bob has evolved into so many different facets, but it continues to be one solution, one holistic solution. And in that time, we've been able to tap in specialists from all different departments, people who are invested in their own science and their own specialization, lending their experience towards Cyberweld to get it one extra bump. And there is a lot on the technology side that helps out connect the dots between the different channels, but we're also going to emphasize some of the technology that helps Bob on the back end. We're going to talk about some of the growing pains that Bob has had to deal with and how he's been able to tap non-marketing technology as well. So what we've been doing with Bob is the same thing we try to do with all our clients. We want to be involved in helping improve qualified traffic, spend better when it comes to paid search and SEO, whatever the blend may be on the conversion side, help optimize it wherever there's room to optimize. And on the retention side, start to nurture, start to increase lifetime value. And across this entire board, there's thousands and thousands of marketing opportunities. Our job is just to figure out which of those opportunities is good enough for right now. It doesn't have to be everything all at the same time, but for now, what's a good investment? And here's a good timeline. This is a timeline of the different things that we've done with Bob. On the PPC side, we've been working with him since 2010. Bob, we were just talking, PPC was first proof of concept with us, and this was a way that you vetted us, and the results were pretty indicative, right?
Yeah, they were remarkable. My initial skepticism with retaining you guys is because you get paid as a percentage of my spend on PPC. What's your incentive to bring my costs down? And I just didn't believe that was going to happen. And so in the first 6 months, you reduced my PPC costs by 50%, and you doubled my revenue. So from then on, you kind of had my trust.
It's a unique position we're in because our revenue is not going to come from just one channel. It's because we did well, we're able to free up investment from other areas that we could do more with it. And this is how we see partnership. It's about maximizing marketing dollars. So if we can find a way to cut down a little bit in one area, or even transfer, we did a lot of SEO for about 1 year, and as soon as we felt like we had kind of tapped out in terms of some of the highest priority stuff, we immediately switched that budget to conversion testing. And we continue to use kind of a fixed budget and saying, how do we maximize a budget as opposed to maximizing a budget per channel? So been able to help out with PPC, Google Shopping, SEO, conversion testing. For a short period there, we tested a third-party technology to help optimize page load speed on the front end. Really cool concept. It didn't really matter for your buyers, so it wasn't going to yield the revenue increase that justified the cost because that was not important to your buyers. And email marketing has been really helpful in terms of nurturing and helping dominate the marketplace. It actually, we'll talk about how that influenced Google Shopping. We were able to do certain things on the attract side because we were controlling the retain side. So
absolutely,
this is high level. Wow, this is probably the easiest way for us to describe that. I do want to talk about Tim Smith, though. So you've been working with Tim the entire time, right, Bob?
Except for, I think, the first couple of years, yeah. I think I've been with Tim. Tim's been my guy for about 5 years. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really high value not to have turnover in this particular area because in your industry, turnover is the norm, and I've had really good stability.
Yeah, Tim, I've been at the company for 8.5 years. Tim joined before me. And of all of our account managers that we've had since I've been here, well, again, for 8.5 years, we only had one leave us ever. And it's because she was moving, and it wasn't easy for us to put together a virtual office for her. But other than that, our account managers have stuck with their clients, have stuck with us for a long period of time. And this is what makes the relationship so much more fluid. Tim has knowledge on what has been tested, what has worked, what has failed. And if something's not working, it's okay. It's an investment that shouldn't continue. It was tested, it was validated in terms of being statistically valid. It validated as a failure or a success, and it conclusively either continued or the dollars could be shifted elsewhere. But Tim then gets to coordinate with the SEO specialist when we did SEO, PPC specialist, Google Shopping, conversion, email, and bring those components together while adding continuity. So the coordinated efforts allow us to do a holistic, evolving strategy and to bring the entire team together on team-wide calls to talk about marketing as opposed to let's just talk about PPC. Let's talk about marketing. Let's talk about strategy. Okay? This has been our vision from the get-go. It's been 20 years of creating a very different paradigm in the agency world where we can do this kind of holistic marketing, but it's great to see the results of it. It's worth the work. So to kind of summarize that, partnership is not supposed to be about defending investments. If you have one partner with one investment and it's not working out, they're just going to defend it as much as they possibly can and pass the buck. But there's no point in doing that as a holistic partner. We get to just say this is all about finding the best investments at the right time, and the marketing investment pool should be fluid towards wherever the best return is going to be. So let's talk about 3 marketing challenges that we've dealt with and how the holistic benefits kind of came together. One was mobile conversions were too low, and we wanted to tackle this from a holistic perspective. So we did a few different things. For Google Shopping, we separated out all campaigns to duplicate them as mobile only, meaning there's a Google Shopping campaign for a product type and a brand, and then there's a duplicate of that for mobile. We won't go into more That's one of the things that we're making sure we do in this webinar, is not share any details that could be used by anyone else. These are very general things that we're going to talk about, but Google Shopping ads being separate into mobile versus PC is a practice that people should be doing if they're trying to tackle their mobile in general. You should be recrafting your text ads for mobile only, and you should be using mobile preferred. All these things have helped us on the PPC side. We worked with EUS Studio as a partner of ours, who has been doing the design for Cyberweld, and coordinate with them. We didn't need to do too much coordination. UI is really on top of everything, but as partners, we still work closely on that. As you want responsive, and it's a responsive website. In terms of the retention side, we know that the vast majority of mobile purchases are somehow stimulated from email marketing campaigns. So to do really well on mobile, you have to do really well with email campaigns, and the email campaigns have to be created mobile-friendly way. So as we start to do more of the email side, create mobile-friendly blasts, increase touch points, and just this January to April versus last January to April, mobile revenue is up 162%, orders are up 73% by doing this coordinated strategy. Extensive sales cycle. There are a lot of longer sales that happen for Bob's category, for a lot of categories. There's you pay for people to come in the door, and then it takes them a long time to finalize their decision. And the challenge is, how do I stay in front of these people? How do I nurture that sale so that when they're ready to buy, they don't inadvertently go somewhere else? So we did quite a bit. First of all, on the paid search side, we made sure to craft really smart audience strategies. You can't just use like an automated system that spits out a whole series of audiences based on no thought. You have to create your audiences based on the behavior that you want to map to. And then once you do that, you blend push remarketing and pull remarketing. Push remarketing is someone has been to your site, they add it to cart, and then when they're not thinking about shopping, they see a display ad from Cyberweld, or they see a dynamic display ad about the product that they were looking at on Cyberweld. But still, it's interrupting something else that they're doing. It's push marketing. Pull marketing is someone has added to cart, and now they're searching for that product again. It's been 20 days, they're searching for the product again, and we show a text ad in the top position with a callback to the fact that we have the cart saved, or we aggressively take over all of Google Shopping spots because we know that that person is likely to close. This is a strategic use of pull remarketing. Again, these are good things that everyone should be doing. And for our clients that had mobile challenges, we have been able to, or long sales cycle challenges, we've been able to do this across the board. We did a little bit of return visitor testing in terms of recently viewed items and things like that, just trying to kind of keep people engaged with what they were using and looking at on the website. Bob's account system that is kind of part of the platform that he's on is meant to help improve loyalty and repurchases, but we also made sure that we invested in a nurturing program from an email marketing side so that people could continuously bounce back to the site and keep Cyberweld top of mind throughout their decision-making process. From a PPC standpoint, one of the easiest points to measure, remarketing orders are up 61%. Again, January through April 2016 versus 2015. Bob, anything to add on these two?
The only thing that I'll add is there is no way, as an individual owner, that you can keep up with this stuff. And that's one of the things that I have valued about the relationship, is that as these things have rolled out, and we started with PPC because that was the only thing that was out there, but as these other things have come along, remarketing, display ads, mobile ads, I haven't had to stay ahead of it because you have kept me ahead of it. So that's my comment in that area.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate that. Dan is asking, what platform does Cyberweld use? Bob, you've been on Yahoo Store / Abaco / Illuminate for, 10 years? It's probably since 2000, right?
We're actually coming up on our, I think October 1st will be our 14th anniversary on the Yahoo platform.
Wow. That's great. Yeah, he was, I was just at the Yahoo show in Sunnyvale on Tuesday, and Bob was definitely missed there. He's a rock star there. So yeah, that's a great platform, getting better. Let's see what happens with the whole Verizon thing, but definitely continues to get better, and has been one of the strongest from the get-go. Third challenge was a really cool opportunity for us. We could get an edge on Google Shopping because we were managing the entire holistic chain. So what does that mean? First of all, because Bob is hiring us for so many different things, the counter argument to that is, if I work with a company that does so many things, how could they be really good at any one thing? And it's not impossible. You just need to do it the right way. For example, at IRCE this past year, we were the only SEO company allowed to speak at the entire show. How can we be a full-service agency and still be considered the best SEO agency? We figured out a way to do it. We have separate departments for each one of our services. Specialists are only trained in their science. And what we've learned from making one department strong gets carried on to the other departments. So this is part and parcel of the argument here for Google Shopping. We were able to use Google Shopping in a best-of-class way, using high segmentation down to category, brand, device, even product. But we also have a proprietary technique that we use to make sure that products show up for their model number search. And the reason that matters is, if you look in your search terms report for Google Shopping, this is the analysis we can do for anyone who's watching right now, by the way. Just let us know, and we'll do that analysis for you. If you look at your search term reports for all your Google Shopping searches that have led to sales or clicks or whatever it may be, if you look at everything in lump sum, you look at the conversion value over cost. Maybe it's a 4-to-1 ratio, conversion value to cost, revenue to cost, right? If you start to focus on the searches that were model number searches, make, model, size, weight, all of a sudden you're going to see that those searches were 20-to-1, 25-to-1, 30-to-1. And Google tries to make it impossible for anyone to actually lock down what keywords you should show up for. Right? They say, put a product in Google Shopping. We'll find 1,000 permutations of keywords that you can show up for. We're going to show you up for all those keywords. You choose which ones you want to have as negative keywords. You don't get to choose which ones you show up for more frequently. So we've created a hack in Google Shopping that allows us to do that. And this has been incredibly beneficial, especially in our holistic approach. How do we cut down 50% of spend? Well, if we can identify the hottest 50% and cut out the other, all we're doing is cutting back costs and increasing revenue. And we don't mind it because that frees up more marketing dollars for other channels. So we are in a unique position to find reasons to cut costs for clients. And that is one technique that has helped quite a bit while boosting revenue. But we're also in another unique position. Because we manage email marketing, the retention side, as well as Google Shopping, we were able to do a bit of a sacrifice. So we drove up orders by 60%, while revenue only went up 24%, which means the average order value actually dropped. Any other Google Shopping partner would not have allowed that to happen because they don't control the email process. They can't also influence repeat purchases from the lower value acquisitions. But because we take care of acquisition and retention, we could say it's okay. AOV is still going to be $400 plus, but we're going to get much more volume. We're going to dominate this industry, and through our retention process, we're going to get more lifetime value purchases from those people. It's not a hit. It is strategy. So acquisition becomes more of a focus, even though the numbers start to play differently for Google Shopping, but better overall for the business. So Google Shopping orders up 60%, revenue up 24%. Hopefully that makes sense. This is one of the benefits of having this full funnel management approach. I want to just see what people's thoughts are. Maybe some of you are thinking about this paradigm shift for the first time. You currently have multiple vendors or you do parts in-house, and we're talking about this crazy benefit to Bob's benefit, a benefit of $22 million, a crazy benefit of having one team that is looking out for the best investments at any given time across all channels. You guys seeing the benefits of this as well? Are the dots connecting for you?
Would you repeat that for me, please, Nick, if you don't mind?
Yeah. What I'm asking is, if you came to this presentation, we don't plan on changing everyone's minds and whatnot, but if you came to the presentation thinking that the best way to do things is to have multiple vendors, and now we're telling you that there are these amazing benefits to having one single vendor, do you see the same benefits as well? And I've just launched the poll to ask everyone. I'm going to close it in 3, 2, 1. And this is good. So some of you are seeing this. 64% of you say yes, it makes sense. You're seeing the benefit of this. 9% are saying no, and 27% are still thinking about it. Well, I'm glad at least the thought process is starting for a lot of you, and you're putting some emphasis on how this potentially could change your course of business. I hope you guys take it seriously. It has been an amazing challenge. It's been for the last 8.5 years that I've been here, I've seen us continue to make changes here from 10 employees to 120 and really building out on this vision. It's all for the benefit of our clients, and it's a freedom that our clients have to be able to make these kind of decisions. So, Bob, you've dealt with a lot of growth challenges when you go from serving $8 million worth of revenue to serving $30 million worth of revenue. You have to adjust quite a bit. So I know that there's been 2 major changes that you've worked with in terms of handling more orders and expanding your distribution. Can you kind of chronicle that and talk about some of the hardest things that you've had to deal with there?
Absolutely. So we went online in 2000. The company itself is 78 years old, and I think our facilities are about 65 years old. And so we were operating this new business out of very old facilities. And we were doing things the same way. We've done the same things for like 14 years, and then we grew to such a point. In 2013, we had 22 inventory turns, which is just, it's impossible to manage. So we expanded. We opened up a West Coast distribution facility in 2013. That helped things. We expanded our New Jersey facility just this past year in 2015. That helped things. So from a square footage standpoint, we're probably about 4 times more square feet than when we started. And like everybody else, when you expand, we just added people because we were still doing things the old way and we didn't have a lot of efficiencies. You added people. Well, because of that, you add a lot of costs. So this year in 2016, we've completely revamped our entire distribution, inventory, shipping, purchasing, everything to really be for a robust online business, not a small full-time bricks and mortar business.
Yeah, that does get to kind of the second biggest challenge. This you've described as your biggest project for 2016 on the back end side, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, it's been the only project for 2016 because it's so major.
So you've been working with retail ops to get retail inventory updates, purchase order management, warehouse management, product management, order management. What kind of problems were you having with past companies? You don't need to mention the past companies, but what kind of problems were you facing? Were they mostly scalability? Were they real time? Mostly, what was the big challenge that you were able to overcome there?
Well, we were operating our online business with what I would say was our legacy software system, which was built to serve a bricks and mortar store. So, yeah, scalability was a huge issue. Integration across all platforms. In other words, the ability to pull orders efficiently from the Yahoo store, process them, assign what warehouse they're going to, being able to print labels, assign what shipping method is the best in terms of when is it going to get the product to the customer at the best cost from our standpoint. So yeah, we had a system that was not scalable, and it required manual order entry. It required manual shipping label printing, manual updating of tracking information. So yeah, it was really cumbersome.
Wow. Yeah, I can imagine. Whenever I'm speaking with someone and they're talking about their order management challenges, it sounds like it is the one thing that is keeping them up at night, and it's something we don't get involved with, the order management side, and it's good to have evolving technologies out there to be able to address those problems. So that sounds like a huge undertaking. I'm going to get to the QA section now. We wanted to keep this pretty brief, guys. We wanted to kind of present the major shifts that have happened and some examples of how it has worked, some of the challenges of growth. I wanted to make sure that anyone else who is kind of inspired by this approach, where it's, it doesn't matter what channels you think you're supposed to be invested in, you're basically giving us the opportunity to say, well, let's look at all the channels. Let's look at every marketing opportunity and figure out which ones make the most sense for now. And we do this through a process called the Ecommerce Analysis. If you go to your questions box and you type in free e-commerce analysis, we're going to set up a time with you, and I'm going to reach out and set up time to do analysis with you, specifically on all the different marketing investment opportunities that exist. So SEO, PPC, Google Shopping, Amazon for conversion testing, or consulting, or using our technology called offers on the retention side, email marketing, social. What's a good idea for now? What's a good 6-month plan? Where can you invest where that marketing investment from a finance investment standpoint is a really good investment? So we'd love to have people request that. Many of you already requested that when you were signing up for the webinar, or said maybe later, but please go ahead and just go to the questions box and just type in free e-commerce analysis, and we'll reach out with a lot of questions that have come through. So we're going to go to the Q&A portion now. So Bob, I have a feeling that a lot of these questions are going to be for you. Kevin Lang asks, do you warehouse all inventory, or do you have any dropship relationships with vendors?
We do drop ships from a just number of orders standpoint. Drop ships represent about 8% of what we do, and the balance, we inventory the product and ship the product ourselves.
All right. So I'm going to keep this going here and add some questions as they come up. Got, does Cyberweld operate on Amazon? And if yes, how has Exclusive Concepts helped? We haven't been involved on the Amazon side, right?
No, our margins are so skinny on our product that Amazon's commissions for our line of product, tools, and hardware is 12%, and that is typically about the margin that you have to sell our product at online. So Amazon was priced non-competitive. We did participate in Amazon's pay-per-click while they had that program, and we had some success with it. When they took it away, we thought we were going to really get hurt. It represented about 5% of our revenue, but it didn't hurt us at all. So, yeah, we're not doing anything with Amazon now. We have in the past, but no, not now, not at all.
Awesome. Does Exclusive Concepts help with other channels like eBay? Right now, we're not doing eBay for you either. I don't think we've done eBay for Cyberweld at all, right?
No, we don't do eBay. It was just not a platform I was necessarily interested in for our product.
Yeah, and this is unique. A lot of people are thinking about it. We're thinking about this for a lot of our clients. How do we get to match the number of sales on the website in the marketplace world? And for Cyberweld, we've been able to create a different approach and more of a retention, lifetime value approach as well, and it all comes straight from the website. So it's where the bread and butter is going to continue to come from. The Exclusive Concepts work with bloggers, YouTube, social media, both PPC and post. So let me break this down. Do they work with bloggers? We do work with bloggers in some cases. We used to have an extensive blog network for one particular concept called link building, but link building doesn't factor into results the same way as it used to. So we can't. Again, it's all about putting our clients' marketing investment in the right area, and if the investment is going to bear zero fruits, there's no point in doing it. So we don't do that anymore. There used to be 60% of our revenue came from that type of activity. Now nearly 0% because it's not the right investment for clients. YouTube, yeah, we do optimization of YouTube videos from an SEO standpoint. We do PPC for YouTube as well. On social media, we do Facebook marketing through paid search, so interest groups, uploading email lists and similars, as well as remarketing. I think that covers most. We also do social media blasts and social media campaigns, but those are all separate. Hopefully that was helpful. Okay, on the SEO, we're getting some interesting questions here that don't have as much to do with the case study, but I'm glad to take the questions. On the SEO side, what made you want to partner with BrightEdge instead of Searchlight Conductor or any other platform? When we looked at all the platforms. We even sign up for. We use about 15 different platforms right now. When it comes to enterprise level, we had to choose between Conductor and BrightEdge, and for us, BrightEdge was a greater source of information around the practices that we think are fruitful for clients. So practices related to content specifically, as opposed to focused on domain authority. When it comes to ranking for a keyword, authority crawl authority may play a role in 5% or less of your ranking factors, but 95% of it's going to come from content. To do content correctly, you need to be able to map out to the keywords properly. And what BrightEdge allows us to do is identify for any page. If you have a page that is out there on the internet and you've optimized for one keyword for that page, we can identify through overt optimization what keyword is actually ranking well, and then through inferred relevance, which means the keywords don't actually show up on the page, they're just getting rankings because they're related to the keyword on the page, what keywords Google is making you show up for. And we get to use that data. So if we find 60 keywords for a page that are not on the page, but Google thinks you're relevant to that set of keywords, we can use that data to start re-optimizing the page. It's a much longer conversation, but it is a seed for what we call topical optimization, which is by far the most important thing that you can invest in on the SEO side if you want to make money. For Ecommerce Analysis, thank you. How many employees does it take to run a $30 million operation?
That is a great question. When we started online, or when I got here in 1986, we had 22 employees, and we were about a $3.5 million company. So today I have 28 employees. So I've added a whole bunch of revenue, and I haven't added a whole bunch of employees.
Yeah, I mean, so you've got an extension of your team here. I mean, since 2011 or since 2010 when you started. In 2010, we were still, I would say, 20 to 30 employees. So I'd say it's not the same thing, but we've had to add a lot of resources to support. So that's good. How is the email marketing working simultaneously with retargeting? Is this being done for existing customers or to acquire first-time customers? That's actually a really good question because we're not doing email marketing as a way to focus too much on acquiring new customers through a trickle-down nurturing program, meaning we're not emphasizing on the website, sign up for the newsletter, sign up for the newsletter. We're waiting for people to prove to us that they're qualified by buying something. And then we're trying to continue to get them to buy from us in the future. And that is a process called sales and farming. When you do sales and farming through email, every time you send out a blast, you're trying to make some sales. So you emphasize some promotion or some products so that you can make back your money from your blast. But you're also planting seeds constantly. And the seeds are what makes Cyberweld special? What value propositions can we emphasize? Okay, so that when you think about buying from someone and you want those values, you think Cyberweld. But it's also planting seeds around the breadth of inventory. So yes, you bought from category A, but now through email marketing, you know in the future you could also buy from category Z. And this is planting seeds. It's farming. So for us, it's mostly bring qualified people in, prove that they're qualified because they purchased, and from that point on, try to become the number one source. And retargeting is used in conjunction there, but retargeting for repeat purchases, the nurtured purchases, the second purchases, mostly done through pull marketing. It's we're creating the audiences based on people who purchased in the past, so that if they search for anything, any of the categories A to Z, we can show up more aggressively to a past purchaser. Push remarketing is used mostly to close the deal. It's that they have not bought from us in the past, they added to cart, they abandoned. Now they need to keep seeing Cyberweld everywhere. We need to do callbacks to the product that they were looking for. We're trying to seal the deal for the first time, and it's going to take a little bit of that advertising style visibility to make that work. So it does get broken up into silly different groups there. So hopefully that was helpful. According to, there are a lot of very specific questions here. According to Exclusive Concepts blog, Amazon now represents 35% of searches for 31% coming from Google. Has Amazon proven tough competition? Bob, do you want to answer this, or do you want me to answer this one? Is Amazon an annoying competitor? Because I'd like to hear your perspective, and I'll share my perspective if you can.
All right. First of all, I have an Amazon box in my driveway every stinking day when I get home. So my wife and I are huge Amazon customers, but I use Google for all my searches. So I approach my website, and I know people tell you, you're not selling to yourself. For me, it's a lot of baloney. I do sell to myself. Google is my search engine. That's the one that I use. That's the one that I pay attention to. We've grown without Amazon. I know there are some businesses that can't do that, but we have grown without Amazon. So Amazon has not been a problem for us. I've got some manufacturers that sell directly to me and sell directly to Amazon, where there's stocked products in their warehouses. They're eligible for Amazon Prime, and we're able to compete favorably because what makes us all strong as small business owners is that we are small and we are fast. Amazon sells cheaply, but they've got an awful lot of overhead. So there are products where you've got sweet spots where you can beat them on price if you're buying close to where they're buying because you've got lower overhead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Amazon is a must-do for a lot of industries, and when you have a situation where it's not a must-do, sometimes you have to take that opportunity. And for Cyberweld, it's rare. I mean, we have let's see, we have over 200 clients that do Google Shopping through us, and just about 40 clients that do Amazon. So right now it's more of a you have to analyze your opportunity and figure out very specifically whether or not it's the right fit. Again, when you have what we get to do, which is I'm winning for the team no matter what investment I choose for someone, and I'm winning for the client if I choose the right investments. So if we don't choose Amazon for someone, it's a win-win if it's the wrong fit. So you have to be really selective about your investments. No one has to do any single investment if they don't want to. It's not the right fit. There's no such thing as a must-do for e-commerce. What is the average size of your orders? Bob, I'm going to keep this vague and say we just go back to a detail that we had added before, which is that we'll try to keep it over 400.
Yeah, so one of the reasons for that is like we sell welders online that are like all the time that are more than $10,000. So that's what makes our average order value so ridiculously high.
Yeah. Of your online revenue, what percent comes from PPC versus organic? I don't have the breakdown, but I do know basic numbers on this. It's roughly 50-50. So there's roughly 50% from PPC. I'm not sure the percentage from organic.
It's 50-50, and for a website that's pretty remarkable in the pay-to-play universe that we're in, to have 50% revenue come from organic. And we have used Exclusive for SEO, and they taught us a lot of stuff on SEO, and I would recommend them for that. But ultimately, SEO, once you get what they do and they are helping you with SEO, you are the expert on your product, and no one writes better content than you. So you need somebody to help you with your SEO, but you're the best content writer that your company could possibly have. You have got to be writing on top of what your SEO folks are doing, because as the expert, you get recognized by Google, and that ranks you organically, and you get free advertising with good organic results. And it comes from you, and it comes from your ability to write good content about your product.
I think that's great. It's great for people to realize that there's so much shared responsibility with each of the marketing channels, but for sure SEO is one area where there can be endless collaboration between an outside agency and your in-house team, and finding the balance of strengths is something that will lead to a better set of decisions around marketing investments. Going back to the main concept there, which is why would Bob hire someone to write content that he can write himself? But again, there are certain parts of SEO where the execution has to be done a certain way, and that would make more sense for him to have another team do it. Can you address the previous questions from a non-Cyberweld standpoint, i.e. other case studies? Let me go back to the questions here. How has Exclusive Concepts helped people on Amazon? So that would be question number one, and these were a series of questions from one person. So how has Exclusive Concepts helped people on Amazon? So we do sponsored ads, management, SEO for Amazon, showing your products naturally within Amazon itself, but also landing page optimization. We do dynamic repricing. We have certain competitive pricing tools, and we also do feed management. So a few different things there. Have we helped clients with channels like eBay? Yes, we have helped clients with channels like eBay, Walmart, Jet, Pinterest, etc. These are small batch tests because for us, until there's some catalyst for change, it's not all these investments are really worth asserting too much time or too much effort. And one of the major catalysts we look for is when a company like Amazon invests in a marketing technology that allows us to do a better job marketing and making decisions for clients. Like Amazon did this past October, they made tons of changes to make it more controlling for us to be able to control spend and output for our clients. Do we work with bloggers, social media? As I did answer that from a non-Cyberweld perspective already. And has Amazon proven to be tough competition for most of our clients? Yeah, I think there's for our clients, there's kind of this frenemy relationship with Amazon, and we have to carefully vet which clients are going to go on to Amazon and which ones are not. Like I mentioned before, it's not something that we go wholesale, same answer for everyone. We don't do it for any of our channels. Do you find Yahoo Store platform meets your needs? Have you looked at other e-commerce platforms? Bob, what do you think?
The beauty of the Yahoo Store, the reason we got on it was the simplicity of the templates. We're a legacy store, so we are the oldest of the old. The other thing that's great about Yahoo is it can really be specialized for you. You can have unique design within it, and so it's worked out really well. Now, having said that, does the Verizon thing concern me? Yeah, I'd be lying if I said no. But I have talked to other folks that are on different platforms, and their basic deal is you should stay on Yahoo as long as you possibly can, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Until somebody forces us off the Yahoo platform, I'm staying on it because I love it. It's simple. It's highly customizable, and there are a lot of good developers and vendors out there that you can use to help you with it.
Yeah, I'll echo here. Yahoo's biggest problem is having a client acquisition marketing strategy. It's not the platform. It's that everyone else seems shinier because they do so much marketing for themselves. Yahoo's platform has done $68 billion worth of revenue. It's been the most stable platform for 10 years. There's been virtually zero downtime. It has the best server infrastructure. You have to learn RTML to customize it, but that's like learning HTML. It takes for people who have a basic sense of coding logic, it takes a day to learn what you need to learn. So, and there's the partners that have come into this space are amazing. So I don't really I don't see that as much of an obstacle. So yeah, Yahoo's great. and the other platforms that I think are solid right now are BigCommerce and Shopify. And every platform has its strengths, but Yahoo is great. And to have a lot of about 90 of our clients are still on the Yahoo platform because they were the first platform out there, and we were the first online marketing company for online retail. So, when you're Adam and Eve, you're there together. That's it. So let's see. I'm not. Someone said I'm unsure of my starting budget. Obviously, within a range. Can Exclusive Concepts help me set a marketing budget? Absolutely. Yeah. And we usually for starter budgets we're trying to figure out, how much can you spend without, being able to burn, it's like your burn rate, because you're not going to make back all your money in the first month, most likely if you're testing something new for the first time, because you're testing thousands of investments, and then you're evaluating them through data, and then you're choosing the ones that work and moving away from the ones that don't work. So you need to have enough investment to buy data. You're getting sales, but you're buying data. That's what your first few months of doing any investment like sponsored ads or Google Shopping or PPC is. It's buying data while making sales, and then we continue to readjust based on that information. Incredibly actionable data. Cyberweld, if your margins are already limited to 12%, then where do you find budget for marketing?
That's a really excellent question. Our mandate for Exclusive Concepts is that on every paid ad, we need a minimum of 1,000% return. And they return to us on average about 2,300 to 2,700%. And so when you're getting those kind of returns on your advertising, you can live with margins that are that small.
We didn't start there. I mean, this is why you're invested in your own business, because there's this fruitful outcome that happens the harder you work and the more persistent you are and the more proactive you are. So where we are now is entirely different from where we started, and that's the benefit of doing it the right way, sticking with one partner who's constantly learning from their past mistakes and being able to drill in. But yeah, thanks for making it easy for us.
No problem. And the guy that asked about the starting budget, all we did is we took what we were already spending on advertising and we gave it to you, and we said, all right, let's see what you can do with it. And then after you showed what you could do with it, then we were able to throw more money at you.
Yep. So the question here is, who manages the content, who decides the content? For clarity here, we haven't done SEO for Bob in 4 years now. So Bob is doing all the content. So that's not part of the current set of channels that we manage. This is a pretty specific question. What is your annual marketing budget? I'm going to stay away from that. Matt, it's such a good question, but I feel like it's a little bit too revealing. Oh wow, this is a great question. To Cyberweld, if you could start over again with your online marketing, what would you do differently?
Probably the first thing I would do was, for 9 years I handled it myself. So I wouldn't do that. I would probably, in year 2, I would probably jump in and hire somebody to help me with it, right off the bat. I held on to too much of the nitty-gritty too long, and I got bogged down in it. And plus, I was killing my own return on investments because I wasn't very good at what I was doing. We had a ton of traffic. We had a lot of revenue. We just didn't necessarily have a lot of profit.
Awesome. We have a request from a fellow client. I'm not going to read out the request, but Mike, thank you for sending this over. The request is from a client who also has Tim Smith as the account manager. would love to have a private conversation with you, Bob. So let me for advice and whatnot. So I'll ask you offline, and I will not make any promises on your behalf. You were so busy this week alone. You were so busy that you were expected in Sunnyvale for a conference, and you literally had to cancel all your travel plans. So I know you're crazy busy. Uma from Yahoo. Hi, Nick. This is Uma. Great webinar. Thanks, Uma. Good seeing you this week. Just wanted to mention there's nothing to be concerned about with the Verizon acquisition. Yes. And as you've seen, we've been adding more features. Yeah, this isn't a plug for Yahoo. This is fact for what's coming up. Just went to this roadshow in Sunnyvale, and there are a lot of good updates happening to Yahoo right now. Again, to have the only problem from my perspective being spending more marketing on client acquisition is several thumbs up for the platform. Someone's asking, Bob, do you personally write all your product descriptions for someone else on your team, and have product reviews improved your SEO?
Product reviews have definitely improved SEO beyond a shadow of a doubt. You got to make sure that who's ever supplying your product reviews module on your site, that they're in rich snippets format. I can spit that name out to you and not necessarily know what it means, but I know that ours are rich snippets, which means they're searchable and spiderable by Google. I write virtually all of the product descriptions, and I'm an expert on the product because I've been in the industry for 30 years, but I need to communicate to you as a conversation, not as a manufacturer, not as somebody who's trying to sell it to you, but just we're having a conversation about a leather welding jacket, and that's what I do. I try to have a conversation with you. But yeah, I write virtually all of the product descriptions on my site.
So, good question here is, this is by far the most expansive QA we've had in a long time. To expand on return, are we talking revenue to cost ratio, 2300 return as a 23x on return to cost?
That is correct. That is absolutely correct.
Mm-hmm.
When I started with exclusive, and this is where you guys come in as smart business owners, you give them the keys to the car, but you sit in the back seat. And so we said, hey, look, you got to get a minimum of 1,000%, because if you don't get 1,000%, I'm going to break even on the sale, and I don't need that. I need more than 1,000%. And they've taken 1,000, and in some instances, they're returning me 3,500 or 3,600% return on investment.
Yeah, and this is definitely a lesson. Like people sometimes get at a fork in the road, and they say, should I be more liberal with my parameters, like my return parameters for more volume, or should I be more conservative with my parameters and only go after qualified? When you are conservative with your parameters and you only go after the most qualified for a period of time, trying how to get the qualified does slow things down a little bit. But once you've got it, then you can start to scale it out. So either way is good, but there's this benefit to putting hard parameters out there. It's something that has helped us a lot to be in sync with Bob, but also to learn the patterns that lead to that. Cyberweld, how do you get your marketing companies? There's only one marketing company. We do all the marketing for Bob, so it's the only interjection I'll make there. How do you get exclusive concepts to understand your product and your company so that they can properly market your company?
One of the things that we do with exclusive concepts is every month we have a conference call where we go over how things are going, the performance and things like that. And we talk about product, and I talk about my business. And when we have new products that come out, I'll shoot emails off with product specs and photos and everything, but then I'll talk about the product, and I'm passionate about my product, and I've been dealing with Exclusive for so many years. They are passionate. I can tell you, they're passionate about welding equipment now because I'm passionate about it. So they understand because we talk about it. You know, I sell this product to them, and then they turn around and they go help me sell it.
Thanks, Bob. That's a good point. Like, people always think if I have an internal team, that team can be passionate about something, even if they're hiring someone from, from gaming into welding, because they're going to eventually become passionate about it. If you have a long-term partnership with an agency, the same thing happens. And in this case, it's helpful that Tim is the one who becomes more and more involved in this, because he gets to pass that along and connect the dots to any new investment that we start doing for you. So this is also another very specific question, also regarding minimum return. Are you managing those minimums by category? Or do you have a blanket return policy? Blanket return, not policy. So in terms of minimum return, that 23-to-1, is that broken out by category? Is it blanket site-wide? Low ROI. Yeah.
That is a great question. Exclusive has been bugging me for years, literally, to break things down for them in a category so that it would better reflect what my actual margins are in a particular category of product rather than site-wide. The bottom line is I've been too lazy to do that. So on the categories where I know we're working on skinnier margins, I pay a little bit more attention to those keywords myself still. But because I haven't gotten off my rear end and given them specific categories, it's still just site-wide. Were I giving you advice today, I would say when you start with them, if you could give them categories, that will really help them drill down even further beyond what we're already doing.
Yeah, and we are slowly bringing clients onto our own feed technology that is allowing us to map out many more details at the product level, not just the category level, including cost. And that's, we want to have different acceptable, cost per acquisitions for each product that is proportionate to cost, so that we can make profit across the board and never allow in a sale or celebrate a sale or double down on a sale that it's unprofitable. You need the right information to know whether or not you're expanding on the wrong thing. So we're constantly developing ways to build into that. We were the first agency out there to use ROAS, like actual return on ad spend, using revenue figures from AdWords. And after that, we were the first company to use margin data as a global margin to evaluate cash impact. And now we're leading the way when it comes to being product level specific in real time. Sorry I have to drop off. This is a very good webinar. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate that. Danny, is the 2300x or 23x return unusual? I think it's unusual for Bob's market. I think it took us a long time to get to that point. There are certain markets where you can have higher than 23x. There are markets where it's really hard to even keep a 4 to 5x. So that's an entirely, just like margins, an average order value, number of competitors, number of shoppers. This specific number is just as unique as any one of those other numbers are, and that comes down to your industry, your product mix, whether you're private seller versus reseller, all different things.
If I could interject, Nick, one of the things you folks need to understand is the way they got to that number is they weed out over time. So we've had 7 years to weed out over time non-performing search terms. And like for me, there are search terms that are near and dear to my heart as a welding company. We do not bid a single penny on them because they don't return. And so you take the emotional out of it, You apply analytics. You say, this is the target that I want. Any search term, I don't care how much I love the search term. If it doesn't return that, then we ditch it, we reinvest the money, and that's how we've gotten to the number that we've gotten to.
Yeah, I'm trying to get, this is a personal thing for me. There's a few messages that I want people to start to think about. One is that you need someone to share your big problems and your big picture. You can't have that on your own shoulders. But the other thing is that people need to stop looking at marketing investments as if they're like there's some beautiful ephemeral concept going on there. A marketing investment is a financial investment. That's it. You only invest in it if it's making a return. You have thousands of options. You never have to stick to anything that is not profitable. You have to stop it and shift to something that could be profitable if you haven't tested it yet. So it's constantly taking money away from what's not working, and putting it towards either what is working or what you haven't tested yet. And that is how you continue to grow. Is that an exclusive? Is there an audit that exclusive can do to estimate what the ROI would be? Yeah, there's a part of our technology stack allows us to make some projections in terms of very specific changes that we would make to your account based on statistical significance. So we can say, like, based on a threshold of 200 clicks per ad group, we can identify which ad groups are profitable versus not profitable. And a transition of funds from non-profitable to profitable would yield a decrease in cost of X with an increase of profit of Y. And we've been able to get, with a 200 click threshold, we've been able to get within 1% of those projections. So we can do some of that. What it relies on having amazing available data. It's also very short-term projections. You know, could we have projected in 2010 where we'd be right now? No. Unfortunately, we don't have the technology. No one does yet. If it's out there, we'll borrow it. If not, then we'll build it. I think that's the end of the questions, and for 45 minutes of Q&A. I'm glad that we spent only 30 minutes doing the presentation, because it sparked some really great questions. And thank you everyone for joining and getting into this, because it's having Bob join us to share his experience and his thoughts and insights on these specific questions. I don't know the next time we're going to get him like this. Bob, I am so grateful that you took the time to do this with us. Thank you so much. I know it's on top of such a busy week, so thank you, and thank you for your continued business and your friendship and being part of the Exclusive family, and thank you folks for joining.
You're very welcome. I just want to add that for all you folks out there, I actually use a third-party analytics company that keeps track of how Exclusive Concepts is doing, and in some cases, they're a direct competitor. They're a direct competitor with Exclusive, and they tell me when Exclusive is doing a great job, and so I've got a third party that's telling me, hey, you know what? Stick with the strategy you got. It's working. We couldn't do any better for you. So that's pretty awesome.
That's awesome. I did not know about this spy unit that you had going on there, but that's good. And someone has just said Bob was great. Bob was great. Yes, absolutely. Well said. All right, thanks, folks. Go out there, make some money. And the recording will be out as soon as I can get it up on the website. Bye, folks. Bye, Bob.
See you, Nick.